Alright fellas, now the other day we saw the return of Shakur Stevenson and well, there's a ton to talk about. Shakur is known for being the WBC lightweight champ, a very technically gifted boxer, yet well known for running his mouth on Twitter and having notoriously boring fights. Last weekend he versed Artem Harutyunyan and of course, what a surprise, he won by a very bland unanimous decision. This fight alone would be pretty boring news. Yet the main news coming from this fight was that it was Shakur's last fight in his Top Rank deal and he's rejected Top Rank's offer, so now he's officially a free agent. So we need to talk about what could be next for Shakur, what him leaving Top Rank means, and also looking at the fight that happened over the weekend. So let's get right into it. First off, I just want to talk about the fight over last weekend. It really wasn't anything special. His opponent's only other real notable bout was against Frank Martin, which he put up a good performance in, pushing Martin to a close decision. Other than that, the rest of his fights came against low-ranked opponents in Germany. I think going into this fight, the fans expected Shakur to at least try to put it on Artem after his last performance. Yet this wasn't the case. Shakur really didn't put a foot wrong over the 12 rounds. In the start of the fight, Shakur landed a lot of counter shots as Artem moved forwards. Shakur stayed out of the pocket and waited for his opponent to make a mistake. By round 5, Shakur was fighting more on the inside and hurt Artem in the 6th. This was the round to go in for the kill, but Stevenson didn't press forward and nothing came of it. By round 8, boos rained down from the crowd, which is even worse considering that this is a hometown fight for Shakur. I'm not sure, at least in recent times, I've seen something alike to it. Shakur started to let his hands go a bit more later into the fight, but by the 11th and 12th round, the building started to empty out. You probably have already seen the viral footage of the crowd leaving in drones, which is really bad, not just from a boxing perspective, but for Shakur. The bloke's now a free agent and just turned down a recent decent deal, but we'll get further into that in a second. But, of course, Shakur would end up winning by decision. Artem was never really hurt bad during the fight, and I agree with Shakur, he was really just in there to survive. Yet, I love this comparison I saw on Twitter after the fight. Just funny food for thought. So, with this glorified stay busy fight done, where does Shakur turn now? Well, he's been a top-ranked boy since the start of his career, and it seemed like it was going to continue this way. However, he has since denied the 5-fight $15 million offer which was on the table and mocked Lomachenko and Bob Arum after his latest fight. With this in consideration, where is there for him to turn to? Well, the first option is Eddie Hearn's Matchroom. This just makes sense. Eddie is a fan of him and this has been the rumoured next stop for Shakur. Yet in the last couple of days, Mayweather has been cozying up to Shakur and his promotional company could be one of the options, yet I see this as pretty unlikely. But no matter who he signs for, who should he be actually looking to fight? Well, first of all, he denied the top rank deal before his last fight, and after the crowd was pictured leaving in droves, this really isn't a good look. Neither is the flack online he's been copping. It has been reported though that Shakur's last fight was the highest viewed non-pay-per-view of the year on ESPN, but really there isn't much he was competing with. If you look at the lightweight division, the money fight is the Tank fight. Shakur Tank is what people really want to see. Although there were rumours of Loma standing aside, I don't think that will happen. More than likely we'll see Tank Loma next for a title unification. Shakur has run his mouth about that Tank fight saying he wants that next, but in reality who does he actually want next? Well, he wants William Zepeda. Zepeda is the mandatory and is a fantastic boxer at 31-0, yet taking this fight isn't a big money legacy fight, and is a step away from those fights. Yes, Zepeda would be a huge step up in competition, but I don't think this really does anything for Shakur's reputation compared to what else is available, or I don't think this sets him up for future big fights. What I think would be the next best fight for Shakur would be Denis Berinchyk, who holds the WBO title, yet the main problem with that being he's signed with Top Rank. With Loma and Tank unifying two of the belts, it would only make sense for Shakur to try to do the same and then try to score that big money fight for Undisputed. Yet, I don't think he will, and I think he'll continue to take fights which overly don't do much for him and continue to just run his mouth on Twitter. I think the main problem with Shakur, although hugely talented and a world champion, he seems to think he's a pay-per-view star worth insane money. I think that this is a mindset mostly reserved for young, successful American boxers. They have the world at their feet and have a hugely bright future, but usually they're brought down by middlemen managers who insist they have huge value, although usually they commercially flop. Although he holds a world title, he hasn't really commercially proven himself yet. He likes to think he's worth as much as the other big boys, and seeing Haney's latest purse bid, do you really think Shakur is worth more than that? I can answer that question. No. Shakur is also now trying to play the heel role of the lightweight division. He realizes people really don't want to watch him box, so what does he do instead? To keep himself relevant, he's taken the Garcia approach to a lesser degree, and he's just mouthing off. Yet, I don't think it's having the desired effect of making people hate him. I think people just see him and go, that's just a bit sad, isn't it? I think Shakur, once he has those legacy fights, has the potential to be a real great. And I realize that Top Rank might not have been booking the fights he actually wants. Yet whatever he decides to go with next, has to ensure that these fights are actually booked, or he's on a serious path to these big fights. Or he will forever be known as the bloke who cried at the Olympics and a Twitter troll. The Zepeda fight is probably what we will see next, and I see him signing with Eddie Hearn sooner or later. If that happens, I doubt we'll see a Tank or Loma matchup soon, yet really, only time will tell. But now, I want to hear what you thought about Shakur's last fight and what you see from next. If you did enjoy this video, please consider liking and subscribing, it really helps the channel. But anyways, thanks for watching and I'll catch you in the next one.